Old Deaves, Uncle Deaves, Spirit of Jazz, Stephen the Cat, Beads, Old Beads, Beardy Beady, Mr. M. Beaver, The Power, The Force, Feel the Force, Hair Force One, The Deviant, The Divinator, Sith Lord, Dark Lord, Lord of Catan, The Dark Knight, The Dark One, oh Dark One, where art thou? Gib, Gimby, Gimbus, Mega G, Geek Boy, The Connoisseur, The Special One, Jesus, Hobo, Hobbit Nosher, The Charisma, The Enigma, The Primarch Kid, and the Man from M&S. Like his brother Beelzebub, he is known by many names. I was first introduced to Matt at the start of university, passing my initiation into the Deaves family, greeting his dad Graham with a foot massage as he lay resting on his son's bed. I'm sure it will come as no shock to any of you for me to say that Matt is a massive geek. He quickly tried to reduce me to his level by teaching me to play chess, making me watch the 4-hour version of Lord of the Rings, along with many of the more exotic offerings from his film archives. In spite of this, through our shared love of music and shamanic rituals, we soon became the best of friends. I don't know if it was the stupidity I saw in myself or his fearlessness that I craved to possess, but I was somehow drawn to him. Bored one evening in our student digs, we decided to race down the steepest hill in Sheffield on skateboards. Not challenged enough, Matt decided to do this whilst drinking a cup of tea. We quickly picked up speed and I had the sense to abort, but those few extra seconds cost Matt dear as he proceeded to hit a speed bump that sent him flying, ripping himself to shreds on the tarmac. We would become more acquainted over the coming days as I assisted him to wash and undress. His ability to trust people, often foolishly, was another quality we seemed to share. Arriving late to the pub one day, a few hours into a session, I suggested he do several shots of Sambuca to catch up. I don't really remember how the rest of the evening panned out, but he returned from hospital the next day with a severe concussion and a massive turban bandaged around his head. Giving us all a good laugh, and still ever the trusting soul, we proceed to try and cure him with our own special brand of Chinese medicine. I don't think he's ever been the same since. He has, however, endeavoured to teach me the true meaning of a terrible first, punishing me relentlessly and for time at every given opportunity. I don't think there's anyone that can keep up with him, and his powers on his stag were nothing short of supernatural. Maybe it's his Russian genes, which might explain why he brought Vladimir Putin along. The story that best sums up his love of the sacred potion took place on the Norfolk Broads, on an impromptu canoeing trip where he showed a total disregard for my possessions, personal safety, and for time itself. Abandoning a delightful picnic with Hayley and my wife Lisa, we set off in search of a canoe. Not satisfied with 1 hour, he immediately insists we hire it for 3 hours. Saying nothing to the girls of our intentions, he appoints himself coxswain and proceeds to lay back and shout, "Row, Ginneth, row!" while sculling a box of wine from a foil bag. Appropriately motivated, I got us from Salhouse to Wroxham in record time and somehow summoned the strength to join him at the pub. Several pints in, his realisation finally dawns that the girls might be wondering where we'd got to. We decide to return. But severely tested, Matt fails to untie his rope or let go of the bank, capsizing the boat and putting us both in the river. Fully clothed, wallets and phone, to the cheers of 50 onlookers from the pub building. But Matt wasn't bothered about any of this, as he'd noticed a far more pressing problem as Mother Nature took hold of the foil bag. "The wine, Ginneth, get the his precious cargo as instructed, we canoed back against the current, soaking wet for what felt like an eternity, with no way of contacting our loved ones. We arrived at dusk at a once-crowded meadow to just the solitary, scornful gazes of Hayley and Lisa, huddled together, shivering under a blanket. At this point, he announced we would need more wine. It takes a very charismatic band to get away with such a thing, and Matt is certainly that man.
Keep going.
He is an anomaly in the IT geek world, a ghost in the Matrix to you fellow moths. I think his powers transcend all social groups though, and he would be an instant standout character in any room you put him in. All of his many great friends comment on his special quality, a quality which seemed to give him total immunity to the horrors bestowed upon most stags. Hayley too cited his playfulness as something she was first drawn to. She also mentioned his power shirt, but I'll come on to fashion shortly. Anyone that knows Matt will know he is a truly funny guy. His many sayings, his Deavesisms if you will, are embedded deeply into the fabric of my soul. They are essentially just everyday words repurposed and skillfully delivered at the optimum time to provide new meaning and context, and with devastating results. It is a gift that truly touches people's lives. He has taught me the concept of time, the art of grieving, what it means to cause a black, what it means to test or be tested, what it means to punish someone or something, what it means to begin, to taste, and sometimes even to break. Please. Not only do I now talk like him, but half of Norwich does, half of Sheffield, Birmingham, and half of Brussels too. This isn't the only way Matt is funny though. There's also his ability to tell a story, not to mention his Oscar-worthy Stephen Hawking impression, and his very special brand of out-of-time dancing, both of which I hope to see later, unless you'd like to. Thankfully for Matt, his special quality outweighs all other factors in how he is perceived, as he's not always noted for his fashion sense, or rather lack of. Only buying his clothes from two stores, M&S or Primark. Such is his insistence to dress as a geography teacher that even when told repeatedly that Brussels would be 32 degrees all weekend, he was still compelled to buy yet another tweed jacket, for which he would later pay a heavy price indeed. Poor Hayley has been subjected to many a fashion image disaster over the years, but my personal favourite was the beardy beady homo phase of 2007, which can be beautifully illustrated with a story which further highlights both his love of drinking and his total lack of self-respect for his physical appearance. Matt visited me in Norwich during this period, and after several strong Belgian beers, we returned home for the Champions League final. Not really one for football, Matt wanders off into the garden. Engrossed in the game, I took no notice until at half-time, when my neighbour knocks on my front door to inform me that there is a homeless man asleep on my lawn.